We live a conceptual life. And we've lived a conceptual life many, many times. And I know you've heard this before, that we've reincarnated and we are here to change the world. Well, I'll tell you, you're here to change your world. And once you change your world, everything around you changes almost instantly. And I bring out that we live a conceptual life because everything we do, we say, we think, we feel are concepts. Nothing is tangible. Nothing is actually real. You are not alive. Truth in everything here. You just have to look at it from your own inner space and it'll become clear to you. And so why? Why then? If we could say, okay, let's not point our fingers and blame somebody for this new birth of concept. What we are is energy. We're energy of source in a finite construct of the body. And as amazing and powerful as the body is on a regular basis, just regular not knowing what you are, it is far more dynamic than that. Unlocking the potential of your body is instantaneous. However, it does require that you realize the conceptual self and why you are limited in the first place. And so I want to talk about reincarnation just a bit, birth, death, and aging just a little. In fact, how I see it, how I've perceived it, is that we don't die. We just slide. We were never born, so we never die. We only appear as an ego repeatedly in different skin suits until we realize the self. Meaning we are not born to what we think are our parents. It is not because of them that we are alive, that we are here. That is a story. That's a concept that we've accepted to have a certain experience. And once that experience is done, we slide somewhere new. And some of the concepts can seem a little confusing. So how I've been able to perceive them is that each day is a new day. Each moment can be a new moment, except the mind is locked into the conceptual now of yesterday. Meaning that we carry forward the same exact structures of our other life of yesterday, instead of being right now in the moment, creating right now in the moment, and floating through all the different parallel possibilities that we have access to, which keeps us limited. And so death and aging are merely indoctrinated concepts that are perpetuated in the media, TV, movies, music, even our medical systems, our medical industries that explain aging process, and they don't really even understand it. There's no real full mechanism of aging. Nobody knows why, because the body is built for forever. The body has inherent repair systems and surveillance systems. The immune system does that, and so there's automatic repair, regeneration in the body. So why does it age? It ages, and because we program it to age by our belief systems, by our collective consciousness saying that this is a rule or this is a truth, when in fact yogis and spiritual people previous to our incarnation probably were some of us, and we knew how to live for hundreds of years, thousands of years. So why would we do that? Why would we do that? And why is the concept there in the first place? Well, according to some belief systems, we sin. And the original sin is, supposedly that Adam and Eve ate from the apple, right? In one doctrinated society, Christianity. Okay? Nothing wrong with you believing what you believe, but look at it in a different way. The original sin could be the eating of the apple, symbolically, which really means that we learn of good and bad. So we learn of duality instead of wholeness. So biting of the apple is that symbol of that, right? But what is it really? What is actually sin? Not the symbolic apple biting, but is separation. The separation from what you really are, the separation of the truth that we're only infinite beings of source. And so if we're not infinite source, then what are we left with? We're left with a finite lifespan, an aging, ailing body, and death. It's a created concept. And there's truth in everything here. You just have to look at it from your own inner space and it'll become clear to you. And so why? Why then? If we could say, okay, let's not point our fingers and blame somebody for this new birth of concept of death and all this stuff, right? Why? We already talked about the indoctrination, which creates predictive programming, which creates us creating death over and over again, right? But what if death was originally created as an escape? Maybe the biting of the apple, the turning away from being everything, the turn towards separation that was done, that we did, that we created, was to escape immortality. Maybe we were bored. Maybe we were curious. Maybe it's set up for growth. Well, how would you know that? We know that because we've seen people experience ghost phenomena, so-called paranormal phenomena, and out-of-body experiences. If you've never had an out-of-body experience, I can tell you mine. And it was during an extreme trauma. I suddenly floated out of my body and I was observing the room, in the corner of the room, watching everybody in that room, going through the emotions, going through the stuff that they were going through, dying. And I saw my body. I saw myself standing there crying, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me because I was watching it. And I was not a part of the pain anymore. I was separated from it, but I was watching it as if it was a movie beneath my feet. I was floating in the air. I could see the hallway. I could see the doctors. I could hear the conversations of the nurses and the staff from my one aerial space in the room. And so that's how I know. That's how I know that I am not the body. The body is useful to me, just as yours is useful to you for the experience. So who's alive? If you're not a person, because you're not a person, you're an experience, you're an energy, living as a concept of a person, a construct of a person. But who's alive? What's alive? What is it? Well, it goes by many names. It goes by so many names. It's been called the All. It's been called the Most High. It's been called the Absolute, Allah, God, the Infinite, Source Creator. It's been called energy, frequency, and vibration. It's been called the cosmic ohm. It's been called many things. And it's also been said that it has no name. The unbegotten cannot be defined or limited to a name, because it is everything. It is everything. It is you. We have filters and blinders on that we cannot see, feel, perceive our trueness, our true self. We are in the cult of illusion, where we perpetuate the concept of birth, death, illness, aging, life. But if we take the viewpoint and turn it from an aerial view, perhaps, and realize we are source, or an emanation of source, if being the whole of source is too much for you, just start with being a ray of source, observing the field. Then we get closer to it. And what is it ultimately? It's everywhere, and you can see the patterns everywhere. The Fibonacci sequences, you can see the pattern in the spirals of the body. You can see the patterning in the ocean and the creatures of the world, the shapes and symbols, the sound, which is buzzing in your ear, or the humming of the earth. It's all the same thing. It's all the one pulse, drumming or pulsating, vibrating, and I won't say splashing out, but patterning out in a sequence as it interacts in the world of creation. It is fractalized, such that if you watch a fractal pattern, a Mandelbrot pattern, you will see the whole in the tiniest, minutest portion of it. That is you. It is us. We are a repeating pattern, and it's energy. And it's beautiful. And it's apparent in everything. But it is also altered by our concepts, by our belief systems, by our senses. And so the way to see it, the way to understand it, understand it, overstand it, be it, finally, for you and how you're going to be able to explain it to someone, is to sit with it. Gaze off into space, which isn't really space, but gaze off into nature and relax. And hold on a little less tightly to what you think you know. Be willing to accept that you may not know anything. You may not have learned anything of use to you until you know it from within yourself. And so anything I ever tell you, anything self that I bring to you, is only a pointer. It's only a pointer for you to investigate and explore the wondrous, beautiful nature of ourselves, our shared consciousness, our shared soul, as we individualized to experience it. There is a reversal, and the reversal is now. Right now, we reverse everything, all of the concepts, all of the beliefs in birth, death, aging, illnesses. We let that go to the side and we reverse our beliefs and accept our new view from our true being, and everything gets clear. Because our true being ultimately is love. And when I say love, love could have its own video. It could have its own 10,000 page book. Because love is really not explainable simply by saying to feel love, because that's a concept. That's a construct. That's part of the world. Love is so much more. Love is a creative force. It is the spiral. It is what brings things here. It's an energy. It is not what we think it is. And it lives in you. It is you. You are it. And so self, please take time. Slow down. Get to a point in your life where you set aside time for this. You set aside moments for this, because this is what will get you your own understanding of wholeness and of what you are. And we can stop fearing death, aging, illness. We can realize finally what a baby actually represents. Babies are here to show you your perfection. They are here and a reminder to you that that is what you are. They are whole and perfect until we teach them otherwise. They are connected. And in truth, so are we. So we can thicken that awareness by going inside.